Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that we are in a massive financial crisis these days. And honestly, I think this has been going on for a few years now, but we're here in it, right? So whether you are dealing with job loss, it's just inflation eating up your finances. Maybe it's, money in the stock market crashing, whatever it might be that you are dealing with here in 2025 with the financial crisis that is brewing all around us. How can we practically, realistically survive this? These are things our family is doing, and I think they could be a huge blessing to you as well. So come and join me. Let's dig into it. Hey there, friends. I'm Heidi, the Heavenly Minded Homemaker, and I love having our space here where we can talk about the real things of life, right? Where we can look at these things and talk about them as friends would, with just an honest, practical, realistic discussion of how to get through all of these things that life throws our way. And I think all of us are here in agreement that our finances have been hit lately. Inflation is out of control. I feel like things have been adding up for the past few years, and they really have just hit a point where I'm like, something has to give, something has to change. There is so much going on here lately that you just can't ignore it. I feel like even those that we're kind of sitting high and pretty at the beginning, and now all this stuff is starting to add up, and everywhere we look, it feels like insanity, honestly. So many things feel almost like COVID-esque with the lack of things, the scarcity, but then you have all of this like financial turmoil on top of it. Housing market is going crazy, stock market is all over the place, like so much is going on, tariffs, right? All of these things are happening, and it just, I think, has everybody almost feeling like we're in a panic and what are we going to do? And that is not where we should be, I don't think, especially as Christians. I think that we know, where our true home is, where our true hope comes from, and that makes such a big difference in all of this. So I have a few different things that really stood out to me that our family is doing that I think could be a help and a blessing for you as well. But definitely the last one, because I want all of these to be very practical, helpful steps, and a really big, how to actually get through this. And leave your comments down below as we go through this, because I want to hear from you all. I'm not saying that we have it all together and we know everything either. That is absolutely not the case. This is a community space here. Leave a comment. Let me know, what are you doing? What are you struggling with? Where are you finding ways to make the budget all work and get through all of this? So let's just dive into it and look at these top. I've got, a handful here that I think are really going to make an impact realistically in your life starting today. So let's just right out of the gate start with the big one. Let's go to healthcare, okay? I know so many people, you go, man, I don't know where I can save. I don't know how I can do this. And you have very real things that cost money. You have very real debt. You have very real obligations. I get it. I totally understand that. Especially dealing, we have our friends that we just moved out here. She's incredibly ill. She relies on so many different medications. There's so many things that she has to have. We've been caring for my aging parents. My mom was just in a really bad accident, and she's a type 1 diabetic. And right, there's all of these classifiers that come into it that make you go, wow, like this is a really big deal. How are we going to manage all of this with everything else that's going on? And I think homemade healthcare. How can we do these the most to help us survive the financial climate that we're currently in? Now, this isn't the end all be all, but it's definitely a good start. So when I think of things, all of us should prioritize getting healthier. Now, the healthier you are, the easier everything in life really does become. And I'm not saying that you can naturally reverse everything and make everything go away. I don't think that's accurate. But I do believe that God gave us many great tools and resources naturally to help us heal our bodies. What you eat plays a huge role in all of that. You can make healthier decisions when it comes to what you're eating on any budget. You can do it. If you want to know how, leave me a comment down below. We can talk about that in a future video, but you can do that. You can look at healing through the supplements that you take. I know for me, I actually have them right here. I use them to hold my microphone up. I take these Primal Queen supplements. These are beef organ supplements that are absolutely phenomenal and are radically improving my health. My mom's taken them. I've got many different people in my life that I'm like, here, you have to take these. I want to heal naturally. I want to be as healthy as I possibly can. the food I eat, the supplements I take, the beverages I drink, from my protein coffee to all my water I drink, all of those play key factors into my health. There are many different natural solutions. Get educated on those, right? The more you learn, the more you know. Again, those are areas I would love to talk more on because I think they're so impactful. And then now in this day and age, we have so many amazing resources of things that we can access healthcare from our very own homes, right? And it is so amazing to see these different resources available. Now, as far as homemade healthcare goes, there's so many amazing resources out there, and specifically even for us women here today, and those of us hitting those ages where menopause and things like that are popping up, right? These kind of wonderful middle years of life where new things are happening, and that's a little scary to go, how do I do this on my own? I don't know. My hormones are out of whack. I'm gaining a bunch of weight. I'm dealing with some weird kind of womanly issues and I don't know what to do. I want to enter in the sponsor of today's video, MIDI Health. Now, I've shared about them here before, but I really appreciate this because MIDI Health has many different resources that they can help you with, even using your own insurance and your own everything that you have from home. Oh my word, thank you so much. Skincare, weight loss, hormonal imbalance. Yes, thank you. Please sign me right up. And so what I really appreciate is whether you are, perimenopausal, you're menopausal, you're not too sure, you're going through these different things, MIDI Health makes it so simple because they are a virtual care clinic, which I really do appreciate because, well, yes, there's some things you need to be there in person. Many of these things, they can be a Zoom call, right? Like I could sit here, I can call you right now, I can talk to you about these things. You could get me going. It's not going to take all my time to wait for an appointment and go somewhere and take a day off and have to handle all of that. So MIDI Hair is really great because you just book your virtual visit. I have a link down below with a special offer for you guys. You book your virtual visit. You meet your MIDI clinician. You just get on there, right? You take a few minutes once you've already gotten set up. You discuss your symptoms. You discuss your health history. Like, what do you have going on? You get that one-on-one time with them where you can sit there and talk through the things that you need to. If there is blood work or imaging or additional tests that need to be done, MIDI Health can organize all of that for you. They will personalize your treatment. They will send you to a local facility. If there's something that needs to be done, they are your place to figure all those things out. I think it's just like absolutely phenomenal. Why has this not existed for a longer amount of time? Thank you so much. And then this can work alongside of your already existent health routine. So if they need to set up follow-ups, right? If there are other things or in-person treatment that is needed, they can help you facilitate all of those things and work with your other doctors and your things that you need. If it's a referral to something else, you can do all of that right there through MIDI Health, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And so they have different weight loss medications that you can look into. They have special prescription face skincare cream that you can get. All of these things with our estrogen decline that we might be dealing with. I love that they have these different resources and things, proven good things that you can go and check out. Talk with your MIDI clinician today and see if that is what is best for you and what you are personally dealing with. So you guys can go to my special link right here. I'll put it up on the screen. You guys can go to my trymidi.com/heavenly and schedule your virtual visit so that you can join more than 200,000 women. Isn't that phenomenal how many people are getting this help who love and trust MIDI for their midlife care? You guys can use my code SAVE15 to get $15 off of your first prescription product with your booked visit. So thank you to MIDI Health for having this resource available, for reaching out and sharing it with us so that we can pass it on to all of you. If this can be a blessing for you in your life, you know it. Go to my link down below so that way you can try MIDI today. Remember, use that coupon code, get that discount, start prioritizing your health, and you can do it right from home thanks to resources like MIDI Health. Now, the next thing I would recommend is to go Doge on all your accounts, okay? Look at the things that we can take away from what is being done with kind of raking through the governmental accounts with a fine-tooth comb. We can be applying that and should be applying that regularly to our own accounts. I do this for personal and business accounts at least once a season. At least. So if you are not doing this at least every season, you need to really start making this, because it is going to make such a difference. When you fine tooth comb your finances and you go through all of your accounts and really see where the money is going, I promise you, you're going to find waste. You're going to find excess. And it's going to happen every single season when you do that, okay? That's just the natural ebb and flow of things where, you might had been, using this and this was really needed, but now a year later, it's really not. You don't need to be paying that anymore. How many streaming services do you have? How many subscriptions do you have to various different little things that maybe you don't even realize? Go through those and cut those out. Look at where all of your money is actually going and genuinely assess how necessary that is. I've helped so many women quit their jobs so that they can be back and make their home their first priority. They've felt that calling to be a stay-at-home wife, a stay-at-home mom, just a homemaker, to serve out of their homes. And so many start with, there's no way I could afford that. I have to work. You don't understand. It is usually like 9.99999 times out of 10 easier to cut out spending and save a full salary's worth of money than it is all of the work and effort and money to go and work and earn a full extra salary. So Doge your accounts, okay? Go through all of them with a fine-tooth comb. I promise you, you are going to find places that you can cut out spending. And that is going to help you immensely through this financial crisis, whether it is being able to finally start, even with $5 a week, putting some money aside for whenever an emergency situation happens, because that, again, that's not an if it happens, it's a when it happens. Things always happen. Maybe it's paying off debt that you have. Again, maybe it's $5 extra a week that you throw at some debt you have. Maybe it is picking up some extra resources and supplies that your family really needs to have on hand, whatever it might be that you are needing to get to. Or maybe it's just being able to make the ends meet at the end of your pay period anyways. You can start cutting out excess and waste. I promise you there is some hidden in there. And we're going to keep talking about it because I think that's one that eats up, for most of us, a lot of our money. Now, my next tip I'm going to recommend to absolutely everyone, because I think it, regardless of what season of life you're in, how old you are, how young you are, right? Like whatever your skill sets are, cottage industry. Now that is some sort of job, service, business that you can run from home. And especially in this day and age with the internet, it is opened up like 9 million options. Even if you are not tech savvy, I promise you this is something that you can do. A little bit adds up. There are so many ways that if you are willing to put in the effort, which most people aren't. So when you go, oh, there's already people doing this. No, there's a lot of people not doing this because it means you have to put in that extra effort and time, and nobody wants to do that. We'd much rather just sit around and like binge trashy TV, I mean, how many hours of people watching those Real Housewife shows or whatever, when it's like, really, you could be actually like tackling your debt and putting some money aside and you really investing in your family and serving in your community. There's so many things we could be doing. We all have the same amount of time. How about we just get a little more, proactive with not wasting it, which I get it. I'm guilty, right? Like we all have our areas where we struggle. Cottage industry is amazing. Maybe it's selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace, right? I see so many people that pick up old kind of beat up furniture from thrift stores, from just the curb, from like wherever it is that they're picking it up. A little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of updating, right? A little bit invested into it. It doesn't have to be much. You can turn around and flip it, especially when you're listing things for sale in nicer neighborhoods and things like that, in nice suburbs around you. You can kind of go to the lower end areas of your area and pick up things that people just want to get rid of, and then you can turn those around, fix them up, make them nice, and turn around and flip them. Maybe it's just extra stuff in your house. Do you have a garage full of stuff that honestly you don't even know what all's out there because there's just so much of it? All of us, I guarantee you, could go around and pick 5 items out of every room that we could list on Marketplace, right? That I really don't need. Do we need all of this? Is there all this extra that's just laying around? There's so many things like that you can realistically, now there's it's a craft to it. There's learning that goes along with it, but you can invest your time in those areas to really start then bringing in some extra money, especially during financial crisis like this, that if you've lost a job, right, you're just trying to keep up with inflation, you're needing to get out of debt, whatever it might be that you're needing to work on, you can start bringing in a few bucks here, a few bucks here, a few bucks here, and that's going to start to add up and have a big impact. Maybe it is things that you can make and sell at a local farmer's market. There are so many things, like I know for us, we have 8 acres, and I still don't feel like we have ever properly utilized our land to make it work for us. We spend all of our time working to keep up with the land instead of making the land work for us. And so this is part of, our goal here of sharing how we, especially after going through Hurricane Helene, realize how unsustainable our life is. Even though we feel like we've made big changes, it's really not where we want to be. And so how do we do that, right? And how do we kind of take the bounty of the land that we have around us and turn it into stuff we can sell at the farmer's market, turn it into stuff that we can, give back to our community, things that we can utilize here for our own homestead. Farmers markets are great ways. Maybe it's a service. Maybe there is something, maybe you're just a handy guy and you know how to fix things, right? Like maybe you are really good at painting, like bedrooms and things like that. Like maybe you have a really nice pressure washer that you invested in, and you could go around and offer to your neighborhood, hey, I'll come pressure wash your patio for you, X amount of dollars. There's so many different things you can do. Service is a wonderful, wonderful area to find some extra cottage industry. And then maybe last but not least, there is some sort of digital something you can offer. The digital marketplace is infinite. For forever, you will be able to sell things digitally. Now, I will say that digitally does take longer to gain traction. When you're doing something digitally, you are to everyone that has access to the internet around the world. Like that's a lot of people. If you have a service or something you can do locally, you will probably most likely find success sooner in that. So I would highly recommend, especially if you are in a really big financial bind, or you're just really wanting to not be living that 9-to-5 rat race, get out of debt, right? Start living radically different. Having something you can do digitally and physically, doing both, is definitely going to be a game changer for you. So just a little nugget of information to kind of tuck away there. And again, if any of these things are things you want to learn more about, leave me a comment down below. We can always talk about this more. Cottage industry is a must. Now, we all realize that the greatest, most impactful revival that we could see begins at home. But sometimes that can be really overwhelming. How do we actually make change? How do we realistically see sustainable impact right here in our very own homes? And that's an area that I've wanted to work on in my family. And so I put together a couple resources that I want to share with you so that way you can come and join us in some homegrown revival right here in our very own families. And so I have a special freebie linked down below for you. It is my 10-day quick guide to revival that begins at home. You guys can sign up down below. I will send that right over to you so that way you can go through looking to scripture, right? We have to go to God's word to know truth, some encouragement and some practical application to help you as you start making small changes that have big impact in your life. And if you want to dig in a little bit deeper, you really want to get in and look for ways that you can make an impactful change in your life, whether it is a mindset shift, it's some spiritual growth, and it's the real practical just preparedness and sustainability in your life. Be sure to come and join us for the Revival Begins at Home step-by-step plan. We are spending 8 weeks going through with videos and a workbook. You've got all the resources put together with a group of like-minded believers who want to make real change. They want to have revival that begins at home. And if you would like to join us for that, click the join button down below. It's part of our membership group here, the HMH Collective, where we work through scripture in different areas of our lives to have true lasting impact. So again, get that 10-day free guide down below of Revival Begins at Home and come and join us for the 8-week series. You can join at any time. So if you're seeing this later, that is okay. Come and join us. Just click that blue join button down below. We'll see you over there. So next, I want you to find ways to save on groceries. One of the places that has been the hardest hit with all the inflation, all the chaos that we're dealing with in the culture today, right? Point your blame and your whatever, wherever you want to. That's not the point here. We're all dealing with inflation. Okay, it is what it is. You need to save on groceries. And this one is so hard. I have 14 people that we feed at our home on a daily basis. Trust me, I know how pin thin a budget can be when you are trying to feed a lot of mouths, okay? And finding ways to shop smarter and simpler is incredibly important. Remember, I said the first point was homemade healthcare. Our family eats a mainly carnivore, ketovore diet because we prioritize our health. We want to be as healthy as we possibly can be. We have various different health concerns that our family is dealing with in different individuals, and that is where we have seen the most impact on that. So being able to simplify what we're eating, well, yes, meat is expensive, it is, but when you're not buying all that extra junk to go along with it, right, we have found that we're able to stretch our dollars a lot further than we were when we were kind of eating more of a standard American diet versus what we're eating now with carnivore. Being able to grow your own food, even for us, like there are certain plant-based things we make. How do we grow them? How do we, plant a garden and grow what we need? That is so incredibly important, to look at the things that you're buying consistently and go, okay, how much of this could I do myself? How much of this, back even a few decades ago, everybody had gardens, right? Everybody raised up a bunch of their own stuff. Now we all rely on the supermarket for absolutely everything that we consume. And so being able to grow your own, being able to go to local markets and buy from local farmers. Not only are you getting healthier options, they're usually more cost effective. And for those of you who are even on government assistance when it comes to your food, I know many of the local farmers markets, I've seen this advertised at ours and many throughout the area here in Western North Carolina. If you are using your food programs, they will give you double the amount to shop there and shop local. And so you're actually making your dollar go twice as far, being able to get much better foods anyways in quality, and you're supporting your local farmers. And so again, check out your area and what's available, but there's so many great programs like that I have seen. Even like we have a food hub that works with local farmers, and you can, get like a subscription program, and they have so many different like food pantries and all these wonderful things. There's resources out there. Sometimes you just have to look around a little bit and find them in your area, or find someone who would know what is available. But finding ways to save on groceries, to make your money stretch further on your groceries, and to really, I think, simplifying and just shopping smarter with what you're getting and where you're shopping at, really makes a huge impact when it comes to being able to save on one of the most hardest hit areas with the inflation on groceries. Now, last and certainly not least, okay, the one point I want you to hear in all of this. When you are looking at the reality of this financial crisis, in whatever capacity you're looking at, maybe you've been in financial crisis for the past decade, and so you're like, I don't know what everybody else is screaming about. I've been at the bottom of the barrel for a long time. Whatever it is that you're facing, because I get it. We are down to the bone every month on food, right? And trying to make all the ends meet, and scaling down consistently, living without debt, trying to figure out how to invest in our lives so that we can not only grow, spiritually, but mentally and also physically, as far as our sustainability and our, what we're providing and all that. I get it 1,000%. And that's why we're here having these conversations. At the end of the day, though, don't panic. Guess what? There are high times, there are low times. Talks of tariffs and trade war and the stock market crashing and all of the stuff that we're having today, people that are comparing this back to the Great Depression and, all of these, from the 1920s to the 2020s, right? And all these comparisons, you look at some of that and you're like, wow, okay, like that's pretty interesting. There's always going to be ebb and flow, okay? Our country as a whole, speaking to those of you who are here in America, we didn't get into this mess overnight. We're not going to get out of this mess overnight, okay? I think there's a lot that could be said there in that, in whatever way that you want to feel about it. We know that the actual true provider of all that we have is the Lord. And the Lord, Matthew 6 is like one of my favorite areas of scripture, and I lean on that so heavily quite frequently when I am on my knees just praying to the Lord, asking for help of how are we going to get through whatever on earth it is that's going through life that, we have to somehow get through. And I encourage you, go read this after you're done watching this video, right? Really go over and read through that, because the more we look, the more we understand that the Lord is our ultimate provider. And everything that we have as stewards. He has entrusted it to us. How best do we use it and serve Him through that opportunity? I know that it's easy to sit here and say, oh, it'll all be fine. Just do these couple things. And you see a lot of videos like that, but I'm like, okay, real life, real story. When I have just lost my job, or we just lost our house, or inflation has wiped out everything we had, or whatever your case may be, what do I actually do? What can I realistically do? That can feel very overwhelming and like there is no hope. And I just want you to know that there is. There absolutely is. You might not be able to see it today, but there is hope. And I was really praying about this Thursday. So be sure and you subscribe, turn on your little bell notifications, that way you see it when it comes out. I want to talk about what you and I, normal people, nothing fancy, like no big anything hiding behind us that we can draw from. What can we realistically do when poo hits the fan? When everything goes sideways, you lose a job, you lose a house, you can't afford groceries, your kids need something happens, something goes on. What can you do? We're going to talk about that on Thursday. And so, again, like I said, keep an eye out for that video. You can turn on the little bell notifications, that way you see it when it comes out. Like this video, comment down below. That'll kind of keep my stuff up fresh in your feed. And if you want to see what we did when we were unexpectedly totally sideswiped by Hurricane Helene, and that was our poo hitting the fan. What on earth are we going to do here and now? You guys can watch these videos. I'll make them pop up right up here. You guys can go over there, watch that, to kind of see some of the things that we were doing in more of that like disaster preparedness area. Again, it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. Disaster can happen to any of us. You guys go check out that right up here. Otherwise, check out those links down below in the description for the freebies and the special health offer and all of that great stuff. And I will see you all right back here on Thursday. Bye, friends.